Thank you, Lisa. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Donna Valente here at the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, and I'm happy to say we have 37 attendees registered for this webinar, so thank you all very much for your kind attention. This webinar is entitled, How to Apply for a High-Impact Innovative Assistive Technology HIIAT Quality of Life Grant in 2018. The HIIAT program is a competitive grant program launched in 2015 to foster the Administration for Community Living's intent to connect established networks. The grants program awards grants up to $75,000 each in one-year grants. In 2015, the program awarded 5 grants totaling $342,485. The 2016 program awarded 7 grants totaling $520,996, and the 2017 program awarded 5 grants totaling $371,307. The HIIAT grants fund innovative, one-time programs that target specific underserved populations within the broader disability community in the state and/or region and/or nation. The 2015 grantees were Delaware, the University of Delaware Center for Disability Studies Home Accessibility and Safety Modifications Program, which provides home access assistive technology solutions to families with no other options for assistance. Louisiana, the Louisiana Assistive Technology Access Network for the Assisted Stander Program, which makes loans of assisted standers to individuals with a new paralysis diagnosis. Maryland, the Maryland Department of Disabilities Technology Assistance received a grant for their portable ramp loaner program, which loans temporary ramps while creating permanent access solutions. Montana, University of Montana Rural Institute for Inclusive Communities Adapted Cycle Loaner Program broadened family access to outdoor recreation in Montana. And Utah, the Utah Assistive Technology Program for the Utah Assistive Technology Lab Roosevelt branch, which expands AT services to remote rural areas of Utah. The 2016 HIIAT grantees included Arizona, the Northern Arizona University Institute for Human Development Up and Go project, which provided early assisted mobility assistive technology solutions for very young children. Illinois, the Illinois Assistive Technology Program Temporary Ramp Project for residential ramps for accessibility. Kentucky, the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation Ramp Up Kentucky Program provided residential ramps for accessibility. Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission, the project was the Weight and Seating Independence Project and provided access to wheelchair-accessible scales and pressure mapping technology. New Hampshire, the University of New Hampshire, project I Create for Paralysis provided low-cost, low-tech AT solutions for people of all ages. In Pennsylvania, Temple University Institute on Disabilities Adaptive Design of Greater Philadelphia project provided low-cost, low-tech AT solutions for very young children. And Virginia, the Virginia Assistive Technology System PACT, Portable Accessibility Kits on Demand, residential ramps for accessibility. In 2017, our grantees were Florida for the Florida Alliance for Assistive Services and Technology to expanding access to health and wellness activities to rural counties, which provided outdoor adapted recreation events for residents of rural counties. Hawaii, Assistive Technology Resource Centers of Hawaii, statewide expansion of Assistive Technology Demonstration and Lending Library. This grant expands access to assistive technology services to residents in remote rural areas of Hawaii. Indiana, the Crossroads Rehabilitation Center Assistive Technology Mobile Unit is a specially outfitted van that brings custom assistive technology demonstrations to consumers. In North Carolina, the North Carolina Assistive Technology Program funded the Portable Ramp Loaner Home Accessibility Program, and in South Carolina, the South Carolina Assistive Technology Program, Eye Gaze Communication Solutions program expands availability of eye gaze technology to South Carolina residents. There are eligibility requirements for this grant program. It is a restricted program, and two types of state agencies may apply. The first is the implementing agency for the AT Act funded program in that state, as well as agencies subcontracted by the state AT Act funded implementing agency to conduct Assistive Technology Section 4 activities. Non-eligible organizations, we unfortunately are not able to provide secondary grants to organizations that have already received HIIAT grant funding. We do want to make sure that as many areas of the country are reached as possible, and that's why we're not doing renewed funding for this program. Alternative financing agencies. While recognizing that finances are often a major roadblock to individuals living with paralysis in attaining assistive technology to maximize their independence, these HIIAT grants are not intended to solely fund financing of assistive technology. Alternative financing solutions may be included as part of the project strategy, but should not be the sole focus. Federal funding. HIIAT grants are funded through the Paralysis Resource Center's cooperative agreement with the United States Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Community Living. We'll be asking several eligibility requirements as part of the application. The first will be, is your agency the implementing agency for the Assistive Technology Act funded program in your state? And the second question is your organization subcontracted by the State Assistive Technology Act funded implementing agency in your state for assistive technology Section 4 activities? And both of those are just yes or no questions. If you answer yes to the second question, we will need a bit of further verification. Agencies subcontracted by the State AT Act funded implementing agency to conduct assistive technology Section 4 activities must include in the required letters of collaboration a letter from the AT Act funded program in your state that verifies that there is a written agreement in place with your agency to provide Section 4 activities, and that your agency provides data for the AT Annual Performance Report, APR. We'll ask several audit requirement questions. The first is your agency required to file an annual single audit? The second is to indicate if your organization receives federal program funding for expenditure categories listed in the Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance, CFDA. Audit documents and federal funding details are not required for this application. However, this information will be requested upon funding for federal compliance reporting. We did ask for that information last year, but it ended up in adding a lot more material to the application than we actually were able to review, and that information is more helpful once the grant has been made. Paralysis Defined. The Reeve Foundation uses a broad functional definition of paralysis, a neurological condition resulting in inability or difficulty moving legs and/or arms, including but not limited to spinal cord injury, stroke, traumatic brain injury, multiple sclerosis, ALS, cerebral palsy, spina bifida, transverse myelitis, and other conditions. Underserved populations defined. Proposed projects should serve individuals with paralysis and their caregivers within one or more of these traditionally underserved populations. People of color, ethnic minority, low income, limited English proficient, rural persons, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons, older adults with paralysis and caregivers, families coping with newly acquired disability. Funded programs will target a specific, well-defined, underserved population within the broader disability community in the state. Increase access to assistive technology services and equipment. Increase independence or inclusion of people within the underserved population within their communities. Produce demonstrable, direct impact on people served by the project. And use a new idea, method, or device, or do something in a new way. And that's where the innovative comes in. New program or program expansion. Proposals may focus on a significant expansion of an existing program or service to reach additional individuals in the target population, or proposals may be a new project or service to reach a target population that has until now gone unserved or underserved. People with disabilities is not enough. In this project, grant program, we want you to identify a specific underserved population within the larger disability community in your state. And in this application, you're actually able to choose from that list of underserved population groups. Describe why the specific population is underserved, including an estimate of the number of people within that specified population. Criteria can also include age, geographic location, gender, type of disability, cultural or racial group, or other factors that prevent this population from receiving services. And again, the broad category, people with disabilities, is not an acceptable target population for this grant. We can fund, in this program, direct assistive technology services to underserved populations, including, but not limited to, the following examples: equipment, training, salaries, facility rental, outreach. We cannot fund food, direct grants awarded to individuals, new construction of new buildings, systems change activities such as attempting to change laws or policies, or indirect costs, which are also called facility and administrative costs or overhead costs. However, there is a caveat for that indirect costs. Organizations that already have in place a federally negotiated FAC indirect cost rate agreement may include the FAC expenses at this rate, and that should be included in the other category of the budget. Collaborations. To maximize project efficacy, it is expected that funded agencies will partner with other organizations in the activities of the proposed project. Partners are not required to commit funds, but must demonstrate measurable commitment that will increase probability of the success of the project. Letters of collaboration by partners must be included in the application. General letters of support may also be included. Evaluation. Please read a quick guide to establishing evaluation indicators that's available on the website. We'll want you to describe evaluation indicators you will use to measure success of the proposed project. Indicators must be a combination of both input and output indicators and must be measurable. And we'll want you to describe the evaluation methods that you will use: surveys, interviews, focus groups, review of program documents as applicable. Reporting requirements. Grantees are required to submit 2 reports for this grant. An interim progress report is due no later than the end of month 7, and the final project report is due no later than 2 months after completion of the 1-year grant and includes a program impact survey. Detailed instructions will be provided. The reports will be submitted online, and I have dates and the program calendar of the grant year and the reporting dates. The projected timeline for the HIIAT Grants program is as follows. The program was announced on November 20th and opened on the 20th. The technical assistance webinar is November 27th, which is right now. The submission deadline for the application is January 3rd, 2019. The application review period is January 4, 2019 to February 4th, 2019. All applicants will be notified of the results via email by February 22nd, 2019. This year we're doing something different. We're going to be splitting the award payments into 2 payments. Payment 1, which will be half of the total award, will be sent on February 25th, 2019. The 1-year grant period for this award is March 1st, 2019 to February 28th, 2020. Interim report is due August 16th, 2019. The second payment, the second half of the total, will be sent after the review and approval of the interim report, and the final report is due April 15th, 2020. Now we're going to go into the application mechanics. So you'll want to go to the Reeve Foundation website, which is www.christopherreeve.org. Click on Get Support, then click on Funding for Nonprofits. Then you'll want to scroll down to the Quality of Life Grant Application Process, and then click on Find Out More. And then you'll want to look on Related Pages on the right-hand column. Scroll down and click on High Impact Innovative AT Grants, and you'll find the page for this program. I also provided a direct link right to the High Impact Innovative Assistive Technology Grants program web page. Since this is a restricted grants program, we purposely make it harder to find because we don't want agencies to go through the trouble of applying when they are not eligible to apply. And And again, we would like you to read the information that we have made available on the website. We have the application guidelines. We have a People First language guide. We have that quick guide for establishing evaluation indicators that I mentioned before, and the list of application questions. And also to be posted on the website once this webinar is concluded and we get the recording ready to post, that will be posted on the website as well. And we will also have the slides to the presentation, and we will be posting a question and answer document that will answer all the questions that we go over today, as well as any questions that are submitted after the webinar to qol@christopherreeve.org. There are some required attachments for this grant proposal. We have a proposed project budget form, which is a 2-page Excel budget template form. There's a project goals chart, which is also an Excel form. And this chart is very helpful in helping you to outline and to demonstrate exactly what the goals, objectives, and the people responsible for each part of that project are. It helps lay that out for us and for you. And the other requirement are letters of collaboration. We want you to scan them into one document. The subcontractor agency letter, if your agency is a subcontractor agency, we will need that verification letter of agreement from the AT Act funded implementing agency included with those letters of collaboration that you'll scan into one document and upload. You also have the option to upload additional letters of support, and we'll also want you to scan those into a document and upload. Each button allows one document, so it can be a combined document, but it's one document per button. And then we have a button to enable you to include vendor quotes if you have those, and those are applicable to your project. And those as well, we want you to scan into one document to upload. And on the screen now is, it's very small and hard to read, but it just gives you a bit of a visual of what the page is going to look like when you're on the website getting the information for this program. So once you get to the High Impact Innovative Assistive Technology Grants page, you'll see the timeline, and then scroll down to the bottom of that page, and that's where you'll find the link to the application portal. You'll find the application questions and the other documents that I mentioned before. And then once this webinar is concluded, it will be posted there on that page as well. When you get to the login page, and I apologize that this is hard to read, but you can get the general idea of what it's going to look like. The first thing that you'll enter is your email address. New applicants, you'll want to click on Create New Account and then follow those directions to input the information for your agency. If you've applied before, then you will just enter the password that you used before and then log in, and then you'll get to your account. There is a Forget Your Password link that you can click onto that if you forget your password, you can click that if you need to. So for new applicants, what you'll see on the left is information that's going to be required when you're establishing your account. So it's basic organizational and contact information. So once that information is completed, you'll have an applicant dashboard. And for prior applicants, when you enter, you'll see your dashboard. You'll see Apply, and then you'll see the grant listed, and you'll see that it's asking for an access code. The access code for this year's program is capital H, capital I, 2018, HI 2018. So the next slide shows the beginning of the online application. Again, it's very hard to read, but it has all of the information. All of the information that's here, you'll be able to see once you're on the web page. But I just wanted you to get an idea of what it looks like. On the right-hand side, it shows what the upload buttons look like for the letters of collaboration and the letters of support. There is an option to save your application. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can save the application and come back to it. At the end of the application is where you'll find the information about uploading the completed project budget worksheet template. So in the application, if you haven't downloaded that Excel template at that point, you'll have the option to click on the button to download the template, and then once it's completed, then you'll upload it, the completed budget, using the budget form. And again, the application can be saved and finished later. Once your application is completed and you've attached all of your required attachments, then you'll want to make sure to hit that final Submit Application button at the end. Okay, I'm going to, right now I want to leave a lot of time for questions and answers. I did not include every question that is in the application in the PowerPoint because it would have just made a very long PowerPoint, but I would just quickly like to go through the sections of the application. So the first section is the organizational information, and that's where we'll be asking about, is your organization the implementing agency, or is it a subcontracted agency? The federal audit requirements, is your agency required to file an annual single audit? And then whether or not your organization receives federal funding for expenditure categories listed in the CFDA. And the second part of the application is the proposed project information. And in the application, we'll repeat those definitions of paralysis and underserved populations and innovative. We'll ask you how many people living with paralysis will be served by the proposed project. And we'll want to know if the proposed project targets one or more specific paralysis-causing conditions, for example, spinal cord injury. It does not have to. It can be a project that targets individuals with paralysis in general and includes many conditions, or perhaps it does target individuals with spinal cord injury or with another type of paralysis-causing condition. We just would like to know if that's the case. So if you answer yes to that question, the next question asks you to, if it is specifying one, that you tell us what it is. And then the next question will allow you to choose from that list of underserved population groups. You can choose more than one. You can also choose other if what we have listed does not quite describe the population group that you're going to be targeting. And if you do choose other, we will ask you to detail that. And then we would like to know the problem statement. And we've asked you to describe the challenges faced by the targeted underserved population that the proposed project will address. Describe the barriers to independent living, inclusion, or community integration faced by this population. And if available, please use existing data to document the nature of the problem or problems faced by the target population. The third part of the application is the project plan and timeline. So we'd like you to describe the major goals and objectives of the project, what you wish to accomplish, and then expected impact. We would like you to describe the extent to which the proposed project is likely to have a significant direct impact on the target population. What difference will the proposed project make in the lives of individuals with paralysis and their families? Activities. Please describe the specific project activities that will accomplish these goals and objectives, including start and end dates for each activity. Please include evaluation activities, including when each will be conducted and completed. Project leaders. We would like you to identify the individuals who will undertake each of these activities. Please note, brief bio statements of key project personnel should be placed in the project staffing plan section. Please see below. You do not need to include them in the project leaders question. We just want you to name them there. And then we ask for that project goals table. The goals table has been created to help you provide clarity on the relationships between your project goals, objectives, expected impact, activities, and the associated staff fees. The fourth part of the application is collaboration. We want you to describe how your organization will establish partnerships with other disability organizations within the state, territory, and/or region, and how these partnerships will increase the probability of success of the proposed project. Examples of collaboration may include such things as serving on project advisory boards, if one is proposed, participating in outreach or dissemination activities, serving as a site at which the proposed project will be carried out, or conducting or participating in the project evaluation. Potential collaborators include, but are not limited to, independent living centers or statewide independent living councils, alternative finance programs, developmental disability planning councils, protection and advocacy agencies, university centers of excellence in developmental disabilities education, research, and service, local, state, or national level committees or councils on disability, nonprofit disability organizations targeting the proposed population, or others. And then we ask for the letters of collaboration. The application must include documented commitments in the form of letters of collaboration by those partners. Partners are not required to commit funding to the project, but must demonstrate that they are making a measurable commitment that will help increase the probability of success of the proposed project. And then the letters of support. The fifth part of the application is demonstrating impact, project evaluation plan. And again, we remind you to please read that quick guide to establishing evaluation indicators. Please describe the evaluation indicators you will use to measure the success of the proposed project. Indicators must be a combination of both input and output indicators and must be measurable. As funded projects are expected to result in high impact for the targeted population, qualitative indicators as well as quantitative indicators are encouraged. Under no circumstances do we want to see any privileged client information that is protected by HIPAA privacy standards. Evaluation methods. Please describe the evaluation methods you will use, including surveys, interviews, focus groups, or review of program documents as applicable. And again, under no circumstances do we want to see any privileged client information that is protected by HIPAA privacy standards. Please do not send us any client identifiers. or anything that compromises HIPAA privacy standards. Section 6 is the project staffing plan. And here we're looking for bio statements of key staff. Please provide brief bio statements for each person named in the proposal, including the persons responsible for evaluation. Please include the qualifications and experience that prepare each individual to undertake the activities identified for them in the project plan. Formal resumes and/or CVs for the project are not required. Part 7 is sustainability. Please describe how your organization intends to ensure that key project activities can be sustained beyond the one-year grant period. The use of cost-benefit analysis that correlates the requested budget items with project goals, activities, and expected impact may be a useful tool to help demonstrate project sustainability. The 8th section is the budget information. We'll want you to input the total budget amount for the entire project, and then the amount requested. What is the total amount of the grant funds requested from the Reeve Foundation? The maximum grant amount for this grant program is $75,000, and requests for that full funding are encouraged. The total project budget can be more than $75,000, but the total amount that you are able to request and that Reeve Foundation is able to award is $75,000. We do include explicit budget instructions in the application guidelines, and we ask you to please note that not following those instructions will result in lower scores and the possible automatic declination of your request. So we really want you to pay attention to those budget instructions. So as I said before, there is a project budget template that's available in several spots. It's on the website, it's within the application. It is a 2-page Excel budget template that breaks out salary, personnel, equipment, travel, supplies, and other, and there are explicit directions in the application guidelines. We do request that if you have vendor quotes and they're appropriate to your project, you may upload them. You can also include a link to the vendor website right within that project budget template if you wish. If you'd rather do that, that's fine. And that's the application. So I'd like to open this up for questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question over the phone, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. A voice prompt on your phone line will indicate when your line has been opened. Once again, it is star 1 if you would like to ask a question on the phone. At this time, no one has signaled on the phone. Again, that is star 1 if you have a question. Still no phone questions at this time. I'll hand back to you, Donna, for any additional remarks or for web questions.
Okay, well, I'd be happy to answer questions on the web chat dialog box that we'll share with you. But if you go through the application questions and a question comes to your mind that you did not ask during this webinar, please feel free to email qol@christopherreeve.org, and we'll gather all of the questions. We'll make sure that every question is answered. Even if we aggregate similar questions, they will be answered, and then we're going to post a Q&A document on the website. So if you don't have a chance or you can't think of a question at this point, but one comes to your mind, please feel free to contact us, and we'll make sure to answer that.
And we do actually have a phone question now. Caller, your line is open.
Hello, this is John from Nevada. I was curious if the proposal was for some type of home modification, would Davis-Bacon be required for those funds if we expended them using contractors or vendors?
Okay, so and what is the question, is what required? Oh, did you say labor rate?
Right. Would Davis-Bacon apply to the use of those funds?
That's a very good question, and I'm not really sure because that particular question has not come up before. But I will research the answer for you, and we'll include that in the document. So it's called Davis-Bacon.
A prevailing wage.
Prevailing wage, right? Okay. That's an excellent question. Thank you so much, John. We'll find the answer for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And no further phone questions.
Okay. Again, I thank you all so much for your kind attention and for your interest in this grant program. We're very excited to see what applications come through this time, and looking forward to working with you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude today's conference. Thank you all for your participation.